In today's gaming news, a Hearthstone survey hints at new potential features, the Wasteland 2 beta will be ready to start sometime soon, and with new technology comes a fresh wave of idiots. Some guy ruins the PS4 streaming. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Force here with your day's gaming news. First up today, it looks like we'll be getting some brand new features in Hearthstone. All this information coming from a survey sent out to beta participants. The survey starts off pretty standard, asking questions like what games on this list have you heard of or played before, what's the most fun class for you in Hearthstone, and what aspects of the game do you enjoy the most. But then it moves on to some interesting questions like what new features would you like to see, listing off potentials like replays, observation mode, raids, and tournaments, and then it moves on to ask about brand new paid features, such as more deck slots, emotes, hero and card art, sets, and themed battle boards. Now, of course, the takeaway from all of this is that Blizzard is looking to implement some brand new features into the game, and they'd like to ask the community what ones of this list would you be most interested in. And you know what, to be honest, that's probably the best way to do it, because the vast majority of people who are interested in feature X or Y, well, of course, that's what should be implemented. Now, when it comes to myself, I don't know if my requested features necessarily line up with everyone else's, except for new sets. I think everyone wants new sets, because a brand new set means new strategies, and that means new decks. Switching up the metagame, basically. But aside from that, I personally would like to see things like tournaments and an observation mode, because that all translates to potential content for YouTube. And hey, that's great for me, lots of fun, and I enjoy that kind of thing. I did so much StarCraft 2 commentary in the past. I wouldn't mind looking at doing some more esports type commentary in the future. I'd like to know what you guys think about this and what new features you would like to see in Hearthstone from that potential list. All of them. I mean, really, I wouldn't complain about any of new features. New features are always a good thing when it comes to improving a game. Next up in news, it looks like the beta for Wasteland 2 will be ready to start sometime very soon. Now, if you haven't heard of it, Wasteland 2 is a sequel to the very popular CRPG Wasteland. Now the game is basically going to be a top-down turn-based squad-based RPG in the vein of the original. Now this information about the beta is coming from a tweet from Brian Fargo, who's inXile's CEO, in which he said, feeling very confident that Wasteland 2's beta will be ready within 2.5 weeks, knocking down the list of annoying things very fast. So Wasteland 2 was a very successful Kickstarter. They initially requested somewhere under $1 million and ended up close to $3 million. Obviously, a lot of people are really excited about the sequel to Wasteland. I myself am interested in what I've seen so far, so I'd like to give this game a look. I'm going to see about getting into the beta, which again is supposed to hopefully be ready within 2.5 weeks. I didn't fund the Kickstarter, so I don't know if this is going to be exclusive and if the developer will let other people in, but I'm going to reach out nonetheless, and if content is potential, I'll be sure to throw some up here on the channel. And last up in news today, brand new technology is here. What an exciting time. New features to the common masses. Unfortunately, it means new features to a bunch of idiots. Essentially what happened is PlayStation 4's Playroom, which allows you to basically use the PS4's webcam to stream what's going on in your room, whatever you happen to be doing. You know, it's supposed to be like live streaming on Twitch with a webcam. It's basically that, in fact, it's exactly that same idea. Well, in the past, there were at least some gates up in that you had to purchase the webcam, and then you had to figure out the software, and then you had to figure out how to stream. Now it's super easy. So now any old idiot can do it. And now any old idiot is doing it. Over the weekend, a couple streamed themselves drinking heavily, and then when the wife passed out, the guy undressed her. What? Yes, it is as ridiculous and creepy as it sounds. This actually happened. It resulted in, of course, his channel getting banned. It also resulted in Twitch coming out and saying, hey guys, you probably shouldn't do this, and let's just focus on gaming content. So now, as a result of shenanigans, which I suppose are to be expected, because again, when you lower the barriers of entry, that means more idiots can come on and do this sort of thing. Now, of course, this has been possible for quite some time. Any old idiot could record themselves and put stuff up on the internet, on YouTube, or on Twitch TV. But again, it's so much easier now for people that a lot of the creeps are going to be coming out the woodwork. So there you go, that happened. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, obviously, he didn't ruin streaming for PS4. That was just sort of a, you know, hype up kind of terminology that I was using, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that we have to deal with this and that such idiots exist, and as a result require, you know, what's probably going to end up happening is there's going to be like a disclaimer in front of streaming now that says, hey, you can't do this and that, which is probably something that Sony should have implemented within the PS4 streaming to begin with, because honestly, Who didn't see this coming? All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of the show. As always, please be sure to comment in the comment section below about any of the topics discussed here today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force, and you have just been force-fed. Wait a second, this is going on the internet? I could do anything, and everyone has to watch. Wow. Damn, that actually hurt.